Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chris G Photography. I would like to welcome you back to Chris G Photography, but none of you know who I am, so nonetheless, welcome. But do me a favor, like, view, and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, even if you don't like what you see, and help me out a little bit. I know there are a million YouTube channels out there about photography, and help me make mine the 1 millionth and first YouTube channel about photography. Well, as you can see, today's video is entitled How to Use Your Tripod to Control Perspective. One size does not fit all. I, like you, probably spend a lot of time on YouTube looking for how-to videos or videos to help me improve my photography or even for inspiration. And this video is not necessarily in response to any particular video, but sometimes I do see videos that say, hey, basically, do this to get this result. And I'm a little bit leery of the approach to the one size fits all. If you use these settings, this lens, your tripod at this height, you will get what you are looking for. If you do it this way, it's correct. If you do that way, it is incorrect. I am very leery of that because if you think about it, every time you go out and take pictures, everything is different. The lighting is different. Your location is different. Your camera is different. Everything might be different. Okay, maybe your camera's not different, but maybe you're shooting with a new camera or whatever. But everything is different. And to go into a unique situation that you've maybe never been to before, or you've been to many times, but you see something different, or the lighting is different, and to go in with the same perspective or the same way you always have, might be a little bit of not necessarily a mistake, but it might be limiting your creative potential in every photograph. And I am really big on creativity. I want everybody to be as creative as they possibly can. And if you limit yourself to only using a certain lens or only use a certain setting or only using your tripod at a certain height, you are limiting your creative potential. And so, honestly, at the end of the day, we shoot digital now. We don't shoot film. Experiment. Go out and set your tripod at different heights. Go out and set your lens at a different aperture than you normally set. Use a different shutter speed. Use a different technique, etc. So, maybe this part should have gone at the end of the video, but bottom line, that's what this is all about, is to not get stuck in a certain habit of doing things and limit your creative possibility. So anyway, I was up in one of my favorite locations and I found this scene. Now, I will let you know that these are basically JPEGs right out of the camera, and so no editing. So if it's a little dark, no, I'm not going for any of that. I'm basically showing you pictures. And I ran across, like I said, I ran across this scene and I really did like it. But I didn't like what I was seeing initially because what I was looking at is this is obviously my subject and you have a lot of moving water here. But if you look at the scene entirely, you have all of this stuff in the background that really doesn't add anything to the photograph. Matter of fact, it detracts. This is just a fallen tree in the background. And going back to the tripod height controlling perspective. This first photo shows the tripod basically just splayed out, not extended at all. At this point, the tripod is only 26 inches off the ground. And so when I think you put your tripod very low against the ground, what you have a tendency to do is skim across your subject. So in other words, you are literally at eye level of the subject going across. So what you do is being you're skimming across, you're going to see more of the background. So kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about your subject too. How much of the background do you want to show, and do you want to get rid of that entirely? So this is my first shot. I was using a Fuji GFX 50R. Sorry, kids, I cannot afford the 100 version of this camera. It's way beyond my price range, but the GFX 50R does meet my needs very well. I think the lens was the 100 to 200 set at 100. And so that's the equipment on this one. So here's my first shot. This is my first experiment. Again, lowest tripod height, 26 inches, and more skimmed across the image. The second image, I extended just one section. This is a 3-section tripod, so I just extended one section, and at this point the tripod is at about 42 inches. Obviously the camera adds a little bit more to that. So what we have is, yes, the background is largely gone. There's a little bit up here, but I was unable to get these bottom logs the way I wanted to. And not only that, but I also have a merger here. I know we are really big and very particular on our photos. All of us are. And one of my personal pet peeves are mergers. I don't like things merging into another one. And this is a very good example of this. This rock here merges with this branch. There's no separation. You have a little bit of the same thing going on here. So, and like I said, I cannot get these logs down here at the bottom. So I lost the background, but I was unable to gain the foreground, and I have mergers here. So don't like this particular perspective that the tripod height gave me. So what I did in the next photo was I actually raised the tripod to its fullest extension. So now I'm not skimming across the subject. I'm actually more looking down on it. And when I was photographing this, I was actually using the LED screen on the back, or the screen on the back, trying to get a perspective, because at this point, the camera is taller than me. And not only that, but I have it pointing down a little bit to try to get everything, and I'm having a hard time seeing and composing this shot. So now we have completely eliminated the background here. There's none of those trees in the background. This log is in full view, and we do not have mergers. So I was able to get this rock spaced in between these two branches and this rock outside of this one. So we have space here. Now, this is if I were to choose any of the three, this is probably the one I would choose as far as the perspective of the tripod. This is the one that I like the best. So going back, just kind of reviewing everything. This is the low perspective. Lots of stuff in the background. Nothing here. No mergers here. A little bit of a merger there. That's a little bit close. But look at how the perspective of the tripod changes where these rocks are. All of a sudden now they're lower, and as the tripod goes higher, now the rocks are actually above. And the only thing I really did is change the perspective of the tripod, or change the height of the tripod to change the perspective of how the final image looks. Now, I did end up hanging out in this particular location for a little while longer, just to let the light change and see how things played out. And the final image, and again, there are several, but this is the image that I kind of prefer. Now, I want you to notice one thing here. I removed something. Not digitally, I physically went out and removed this. There is this branch right here. I should have done the same thing for here too. This water wasn't that deep. And there I was able to walk out here, grab this branch, and remove it. So to me, the final image here is the one I prefer. Again, the tripod is at its maximum height. I've got this log here. The rocks are spaced out the way I like them, the way I wanted them to. I did remove this little bit of debris. Guess I should have noticed this one too here. There's also a little bit here that I could have reached, but I didn't actually notice that until after the fact. So this is the final image that I chose. Now there are several. The water is a little bit different. I have varied apertures and shutter speeds at this point to change up the water. And again, this isn't edited, so yes, we have some blowout here and all of that. But so this is not a final image, but I think I like this image as far as compositionally goes, and the tripod height the best out of all of them. So one more time, we'll go ahead and take a look at all three images. The tripod set at 26 inches, its lowest height. Then you have the tripod set at 42 inches. The medium height, again, we have a merger here. And this rock is not exactly where we wanted, and I could not get all of this in here. The tripod at full extension. This log here is good. We have no merger. This rock here has got good distance between theirs. It kind of frames it up maybe a little bit. And my final image that I like, and we'll probably end up editing the raw version and putting it online for everybody to see. So again, my name is Chris. This is Chris G Photography, and this is my kind of 2 cents on how to use your tripod. Please, whatever you do, every time you go out, don't get into habits of doing everything the same way. The same way every time. Excuse me, that didn't come out right. Play around. Because quite honestly, this is digital, guys. If you don't like it, you can delete it. And not only that, but if you are new to photography, you need to play around. You need to experiment. You need to figure this stuff out. And not only that, but you need to make up your mind what you like. You may not like this. You may like that. You may like that. And if that's what you like, that's fine. It doesn't mean it's a good photo. It does not mean that other people are going to like it. But what it does mean is that you are growing and learning and you are developing your personal style. So don't ever let me or anybody else tell you what your photos should look like. You want your photos to look like what you want your photos to look like. So for now, my name is Chris. This is Chris G Photography, and thank you for watching.